Hey guys, I'm Andy from Overkill Customs from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. This is a 1970 Pontiac GTO. Let me show you what we're going to do. This particular car has actually spent most of its life on the drag strip, but the customer wants to be able to enjoy it. He's always loved the 70 GTO, so we are going to build a full stereo with him. If you see, he's already got a pair of speakers in the kick panels, got a pair in the back deck. But as far as aesthetics go, we want to try to match something similar to the interior so it doesn't look like it's out of place. Now we're back in the back of the trunk. We're going to go ahead and build the enclosure, a pair of 12 tucked up over the rear axle. But one thing we're going to do, make sure this looks nice and preserved for the future, is we're going to grind down all this rust in it. And it is 55 years old. It looks really good for its age, but we're going to grind this down, prep this, and spray this with bed liner. That way, once we put the box in, it's all prepped, looks great for the future. In the future, he's going to come back. We're going to build some side panels, build some carpet. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. But for now, this stage, this will finish us up. We went through and sanded down all the surface prep, try to get all the loose rust off, but now we're going to put some rust converter on it, let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow we'll come back and do a fresh coat of bed liner. That way we're all prepped for the future. So I've already designed the entire enclosure, and what now I'm doing is going through and cutting all the pieces of wood and putting everything together. Sometimes getting started building the box gets a little tricky. If you have an extra set of hands, it's definitely helpful, but I've had to do this so many years by myself. Just it works as it works. So anyways, I'm just kind of going through, putting all my brads together, spinning around. I do find if you put the glue on the flat surfaces and then kind of press them together, you're less likely to have a mess. Your hands are still covered in glue at the end of the day, but hey, this makes it a little easier. Now I'm continuing construction. What I've done is used a 16 gauge brad nailer. Now the nails are only temporary. They hold it until the glue sets, which is about 15 minutes, but it doesn't take too long. This is a perfect circle jig, so what I'm using it is to cut the perfect size of the hole so everything drops in and sits nice. I'm using a flush trim router bit to smooth everything off and make sure everything sits flush. Now I've moved over to the table router and I'm putting a roundover bit. This just makes it a little smoother, easier for me to wrap material on. It's just a more finished look. Now when it comes to repetitive tasks with precision, the CNC really excels a lot at that. What I've done here is made these weird little construction arrow style shapes. But what this is, it's reminiscent of the design that's inside the car. It's like little slants from front to back. And I decided that I wanted to include this in the back. So the CNC makes great work on this. I'm using a standard contour pattern, but I'm using a 90-degree V-bit, just get a nice easy shape to wrap. It's just gonna look real nice when we're finished. The CNC is now going through and cutting the final shapes. We are going to be installing these here shortly, but we're just going to use CA glue and hold it down. But this is a time saver and it makes everything perfect when you use the CNC. I just finished making these on the CNC, went around and chamfered the sides, but now we're going to attach it to this panel here before we put in the body filler. So I'm just going to apply a lot of CA glue. One thing I forgot to mention, I do have these little scrap pieces of material I'm wrapping everything with. And the reason for that is to make sure we got the gap correct. I've already attached these little white pieces. It's just a spacer for the chrome. So now that that's all dry, well, as it's drying, I'm gonna grab the body filler, we're gonna mix up some here, all around here, and then right over here. And then, once this is done, wrap this in one piece. But this vinyl will come from here, all the way over here, just one solid uniform piece. Now I'm mixing up some body filler to try to fill in these gaps. This is nothing special, just a cheap Evercoat, I think it's called Z-Grip body filler, but the biggest thing with body filler is you don't want to put on too much because it's such a pain to sand off. So once you get used to how much you need, it's just better to go with the least amount you can go with. But after that, we're going to sand everything by hand. The best way I've found to get these great contours is do everything by hand. It is tedious, and it's very dusty and wears you out, but it's the only way I know you can get a really good shape. It's a very long process. You can see that I've sped this up quite a bit. Just kidding, I'm actually on a lot of caffeine right now. Now's the fun part. We get to wrap everything in vinyl, lay everything in the middle, heat it up. Heat's always your friend when it comes to vinyl. So what I'm doing is I'm heating it a little bit, being able to push the vinyl down into the little cracks. I'm using my little pry tool just to kind of help shimmy it down in there. Heat's a great thing as long as you don't overheat it or overstretch it, because it's not a good time. But it's a game of patience. You cannot rush this process or you can tell. Now with the same on the other side, cut the diamond in the middle first, but then I'm going to continue on to the left side of the trunk. Heating up, pushing in. I like to use a 90-degree pick sometimes. Sometimes that helps me a little bit better. It just depends on the shape, depends how everything's working for me. Now these other pieces, I cheated a little bit. I wrapped one solid corner, so that way when I press it into it, it sits nice and tight. This is the best way you can probably do this, unless someone else knows the idea, let me know. But I wrapped it under, pushed it in, then glued it on. I just find this to be the best way. Now, if you ever had to rewrap it, you're gonna be completely screwed, but I don't think that's ever gonna have to happen again. If you wanna redo this, we'll build you another panel. Now we're down the bottom doing the exact same thing, but when I push it into it, there's a little piece of white trim there, and we'll have a piece of chrome that sits right on top of that. Rolling on the back, we're going to tuck everything into that little rabbit groove that I sliced earlier. This is definitely not a very fast process, except for if you speed it up like I am in here. But if you see those three magnets at the back, that's actually what's going to hold the top of it together. We are now going to be wrapping the centerpiece. I'm using stretch vinyl on this. It is a godsend when it comes to wrapping something that you really shouldn't be wrapping. It stretches in all four directions. It takes heat really well. It's just one of my favorite things. Now you're going to pay for that in the long term. It's very expensive, but God, if you need something done, this just works great. But first I gotta go around the outside, and the reason for that is when I go to the inside, if I gotta put a little more stretch on it, I don't have to risk the vinyl pulling off of the material, and it's gonna be an absolute pain in the butt. But I made the shape out of acrylic just because I can get it really small and very precise. Now, make sure you have to use plenty of heat, because if not, you're not going to get the stretch. Now, the stretch vinyl is really good about that, but it's just so much better to have some heat. Spin all the time. Trying to avoid sharp corners when you make a design really helps, but going through, peel all this up, and we'll finish up the back. Now, the front side, once again, you have to heat it. I score it in the middle just to give me a little extra slack, but and I usually use my finger as a guide of how close I can get to it. But heating it up, slicing, pushing, slicing, it's a very long drawn out process. Now I'm putting in the acrylic logo because we got to show who we are, but it's the same shape as the Pontiac logo. That was actually a happy little accident. Now we've got the piece inserted up top, got everything attached, and we're getting ready to put it in the car. These are the little plates that are in the doors that you'll see later. Okay, you guys are joining us at the back of the car. We just finished up this project. It's not finished complete, but today stage one is done. So we put a pair of 12-inch subwoofers back behind this panel, porter box firing into the back deck. Nothing too crazy, but we wanted to keep a nice classic feel. But we also took the design cues from the door panels and we brought it to the back. We used the laser, we used our CNC, we used body filler, a little chrome, little everything, and just kind of dressed up as much as we could. The next step, we're going to come in and we're going to build some side panels and build some cubby holes in the side. That way it's more practical if it goes to a car show, have a place to put your glass cleaner and not blocking your floorboard.